Geek Squad.
And as usual, when it gets to 7 minutes after 7, Kobby Spiky Nkrumah comes on your radio with the Geek Squad. It's been 2 weeks you haven't heard from us on your radio, but we've been streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you missed our last 2 episodes, you can check us out on YouTube, you can check us out on Facebook, and you can go on myjoyonline.com, go listen to the podcast. And yeah, as usual, we would like to talk tech. You missed a lot of things if you didn't catch us for the last 2 weeks. Listening to football was also important for those who like to, kick their feet up and then chill and watch some football with a keg of beer. But yeah, we're back with tech. And today, we're going to have a very interesting conversation. How many of you listening to us built Conco cars when you were, when you were kids? You go and take the Milo tin, cut the cylinder, cut the hard parts out, take the foldable parts, fold it, take the ideal milk, take the peak milk, cut one side out, and then go and take a chalote, cut, the circle in it, put a broom right through it. You've got your tires. I remember a friend of mine showed us what he could do with his Conco car. He went to take and kids, don't try this at home. I have to issue this disclaimer because that was very dangerous. I realized later. The insecticide, he cut it on both sides and then he used a tube inside and it looked like a tanker. But you see, it's very dangerous if you punch out that thing, it could explode. So if you're listening, you've done that before. Before. We all did that stuff. I mean, if you did, drop a comment in our WhatsApp of your Conco car. Give me your specs. 055 1111 997, 055 1111 997, 055 quadruple 1 997. Send us a WhatsApp. Let me see. Give me your specs of your Conco car. What did you use differently from everyone else? I told you my friend used the big one to create his own tanker. And then moving on from that, I was in a school that decided that sciences were very important. So they taught us how to, we always had a project work to do at the end of every term, and then there'll be open day. I loved building stuff, and I remember discovering polystyrene, and then the 9 volts battery, the almighty 9 volts battery, and then the motor you find in toy cars. You can find them in so many devices, but I always found them in toy cars. And then the portable fans. There was one made by Energizer, so I'll take it, put it on my polystyrene, connect it to my 9 volts battery, and then it would just be, cruising on the water. Unfortunately, I couldn't stop it because there was no remote control until my mom was unlucky and she bought me a toy car, which had this wire connected to the toy car. You press one button, it goes forward. You press one button, it comes back. I repurposed that into my polystyrene boat. And guess what? Now I could follow my boat around and control it. This generation of kids coming now who know iPhones and the rest, they are being introduced to something called robotics, which is far from our Conco cars. So today I'm going to be talking to 2 robotic gentlemen. They're going to be telling us about preparing kids for the future with robotics. Because trust me, the kids today, they need to know this stuff. When you go to Germany, as early as, stage 3, 3rd grade, they're learning robotics. What are we doing in Ghana? Anyway, Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle, your own way with MTN Flexi Bundle. Just dial *138# and enjoy bundles that don't expire. So you see, if you had bundled *138, watching us, no interruption, it wouldn't expire. Welcome, Michael. Welcome, Gideon. Richard
Yeah.
and Gideon. My apologies.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, you notice that on the tables next to me are one Transformers, some robot over here. It's probably going to be shooting lasers. I can see a power button. It's green. It's looking amazing. And I wish I was young again so I could know what to be doing with this stuff. So, guys, welcome again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is robotics for those that do not know?
Wow. So I remember back then in uni, final year. Then a friend of mine, I went to his room and I used to do this mechanical stuff, as he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he told me about microcontrollers, Arduino programming. I said, I mean, I didn't like those stuff because I seemed it as something difficult. It involved a lot. So when he spoke to me about it, he told me about the prospects and he asked me to go and program a robot. I said, okay. So I had to go back to the net and then check. And I found out a lot. When I began it, in fact, it has been a transforming journey. Robots are basically servants. That's the Greek name. It was derived from robots. It means servants.
Right.
So we creating machines that will help us with the things that we do. So when you go to certain industries, you have robots that assemble, these cars that we drive, and other things like big machinery that do certain things that have been programmed for it. Even now we have machines with AI. They actually think like humans as they are doing their work. They can even work with humans. So that's about robotics.
Right.
Yeah.
So how were you introduced to robotics?
Yeah, first of all, I didn't even know anything about robotics before I even entered university.
Okay.
So all I knew was just making things move and stuff like that. And in 1100, I wanted to be a programmer.
Right.
So I started learning about websites, web design and all that. But when I saw this movie, I watched the movie and I saw industrial robotics.
Which movie was that? You can't
I
remember.
when I was a kid, I was watching maybe those Transformers, Robocop, and all that. So I wanted to learn, but when I looked at my surroundings, I said, "Oh, there's no way." I couldn't see anything around me that was encouraging me. So I thought maybe one day when I get money, maybe someone will send me to abroad, and I'll go and because I could see there were the resources there. So when I came to university and I saw my first Arduino car in Ghana, I went to an exhibition and I saw it and I thought, wow. So I got in touch with the person told me that I could build it when I went to do. At that time, I was learning software engineering, but when I came back and I was able to program something, it made it move. I realized that was my passion.
Right.
My passion was to be a hardware programmer and build something. So I had to ditch the software engineering, the software programming, and move into hardware programming. That's how I came to robotics. And I realized that robotics itself is a branch of computer science and engineering.
Yeah.
So that made me choose to go and do my computer science and engineering at University of Mines and Technology, Takwa.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and in robotics, it's just meant to help us.
Right.
In situations whereby human beings can be, let's say we have a bomb threat, they won't send a human being first. They will send a rover with a camera that will go and survey the place to see if it's safe before human beings will enter.
Yeah.
And when you go to petroleum industries whereby they drill deep sea, they normally have to clean the pipes. They can't send a human being down there. So in that case, a robot will have to be programmed to go there and clean the pipes to make it clean. And in areas in automobile and even space station, the spacecraft, they have robots that are designed and programmed to be checking whether everything is okay before it sets off. So robotics have various applications across so many industries, so many sectors. And it's very important that we let our kids know because most of us, it's too late for us. We can learn it, but we can't pick it up as compared to the kids. that's why it's time for us to let them know and start early. So that by the time they get there, they're able to solve problems, do marvelous stuff that will encourage others to do same.
Right. Gideon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so at what age do you think kids should learn robotics? Because he says they need to start early. That's all. Richard said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For me, very soon I'll be giving birth to my firstborn. And once he comes out, I'll start introducing
Hey,
this
so the
child.
moment a child comes out and then we hear it again, it's already.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
But
interesting.
I once had an opportunity to teach some children.
Right.
And when I was having interaction with the proprietors and the teachers, I mean, we thought it wise that at least from 7 years upwards,
Mhm.
that's, I don't know, KG2 or class 1, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And we were able to have a session with the kids. Their interest was superb. They were catching. I mean, based on the curriculum we used for teaching them, they really got understanding and they were really contributing a lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, before we started the show, I was telling you how I learned Ohm's law and Kirchhoff's law in primary. You know, in Northridge Lyceum, we were learning all this stuff at a very early stage. So, and it's really followed me up till now. I still remember the color codes of wires and I know how they are ordered and all that.
Exactly.
So, I agree that it should start early. Now, but some parents probably would be asking, I mean, if I let my child learn robotics, what benefits are they going to get? So, Richard, what benefits? I mean, my child is in class 1 and he's learning robotics. You just come home and be disconnecting my TV and spoiling things just in the name
Yeah.
of robotics.
One thing that parents have to realize is that problem solving starts from the early stage.
Hmm.
You know, our brain develops differently than the human body physically. We have the conscious part and the unconscious part. So when a kid is there trying to figure things out, and the unconscious part is learning a lot about the intellect, about problem solving, about how to digest issues and all that. But you, the parent, might not even know. So first of all, it builds the intellectual capacity of the brain. The mental faculty increases exponentially when a kid starts playing with stuff. It might not be necessary for the kid to be assembling or joining, but just trying to figure out what's happening around, using toys and other stuff, unconsciously builds up the child. So as the child grows, then it manifests in the conscious state. So you see that it will not be just about machines. The child will be able to solve general life problems. Anything that happens in the child's life, the child will be able to do it because he has able to learn how to solve problems through learning about these toys and trying to assemble them. So
Right.
that's very important.
I mean, it's spoken like a true programmer because every programmer goes through learning basic logic because computers, unlike us humans, don't understand, you know, natural language. So you have to understand logical reasoning to be able to program them.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
that transfers to robotics as well.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's all programming. It's just hardware. So you are just programming the hardware part of it. So it's all about critical thinking, how it will move, how it will act, and all that. Yeah.
So, if my child, what do I need to see to know that my child is interested in robotics? Because, I mean, I can't just get up and say, okay, you, my child, go and learn robotics. What if a child doesn't have interest?
You need to be training stuff at a child.
Hmm.
You need to train maybe dolls at a child to see if maybe to be checking the ports or something. You need to train a Lego. This Lego that can move. You see
Bricks.
that one day you give a Lego to a child for the first time and before you realize the child is started putting stuff together, building to maybe form a car or a bear or something. Then you realize that the child has the natural will to put things together and to dismantle stuff.
Hmm.
So that's one of the indicators that your child wants to build,
Right.
even though you might not even know it at that early stage.
Okay. So, Gideon, you said the moment your child comes out of the womb now, they're learning
International.
robotics. So, what if your child comes out of the womb and then he or she is painting, drawing, and stuff? Would you still want them to go into robotics?
See, as I started robotics, I realized, I mean, it's not only all about the programming, the fixing, and in fact, it cuts across every area. You see, I built this thing. at first, I would have just presented wires. You just see all the wires inside. I mean, whatever, the intestines. That's what I have in my head. But growing up, I had to understand that building a product is not only about the mechanics or the functionality of the thing. Sometimes to the presentations and all that. And that's art.
Right.
So I really appreciate art a lot. So in all of that, I mean, me introducing them to robotics, these all come into play.
Right.
Yeah, these all come into play. Giving them variety. It's not like I did robotics, so you also have to do robotics. But aside introducing them to these, there are other things. YouTube videos. I mean, their mother is also into art, like fashion and all that. And they will all be introduced to that. So it's not going to be compulsory. You did robotics, so you also have to.
But
do.
you're giving them the
Yeah.
option. Well, next thing you know, that they're going to apply the robotics to the art, and then they will create a robotic arm that will be doing the painting
Exactly.
while they just talk.
Exactly.
Now, so I've identified that my child has the interest of robotics. What's the
Okay.
next step? Because maybe I do not have any knowledge whatsoever. I heard you say Arduino and microcontrollers. Okay, so maybe I know a controller, like PlayStation controller. But is there a smaller version of a PlayStation controller, the microcontroller? Is that what it is?
Okay. So, introduction to robotics.
Right.
You realize that your child is tinkering with items, toys, even wants to touch the television and destroy it. Mostly, it's not the intention to destroy things. It's actually to understand whatever is going on. No, looking at the main attitude of a scientist, they experiment.
Right.
And through the experimentation, you discover. Yeah. So, parents have to present that platform where the children can experiment. And how do they experiment? You have to have a lab. And you don't have to go and build a lab somewhere and then get tools and all that. Just a simple kit, a robotics kit. We have the Arduino robotics kit. It has a microcontroller. That's like a brain where the motors can get commands from, the sensors can get commands from. So speaking about the kit contains sensors that is able to detect distance. So you can use such a kit for obstacle avoiding. The robot is walking and then it sees an obstacle, it will just change direction or stop based on what you program it to do. The microcontroller, we have some wires, battery power, so you're mentioning 9-volt battery. So there are other types of batteries you can use. And these kits have all those that can demonstrate simple laws like series connection, parallel connection, and these are taught in school. So with the little kit, which may cost, you can get a kit for 50 cedis, 100 cedis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the kid can be able to experiment all these and get introduced to robotics.
Okay, so what if, I mean, you mentioned some of the schools are teaching the series circuits and the parallel circuits. For the kid, I mean, I'm all about inclusion. For the kid in that public school that is probably never going to get taught series circuits or parallel circuits, how do they also get this exposure? So, Richard, the kid in the public school.
There are some people that are trying to do that. I've worked with some associations like the National Association of ICT Teachers that are trying to build a curriculum for people in basic schools. We have 1, 2, 4 private schools. So they are just trying to build a curriculum whereby they introduce robotics from basic 7 to basic 10. Then give it to the government for approval.
Okay.
So they will be buying all the kits and stuff for the people to learn. So that's how they can also benefit. But the problem is the awareness for the leaders to understand that they really have to learn robotics. And when it comes to resources, the buying of the resources in massive scale, public schools are different from private schools.
Yeah.
In terms of budgets, in terms of school fees and all that. So raising funds to buy these things has been a challenge. But I'm just hoping that they get to see the agency of what they will be impacting into their pupils, so they can also get a chance to learn it. Because you can't always give priority to the rich, those in the private schools.
True.
Yeah, because someone in the public school will be very intelligent, and that someone can be the Elon Musk of Africa. Yeah, so that's very important. That we also try to give them the opportunity to learn robotics. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, I wanted to add
Sure.
this. So aside getting a kit or this modern stuff, before I got introduced to Arduino, I was using that plywood at that corner in the room. The battery that was supposed to be in the remote, the wire that was torn from that sports radio, and some of these things you bring it together and you can still do the same thing.
Right.
So you don't need to go and buy a special kit somewhere. Recycling or reusing can also be a very good tool to start robotics.
Great.
Yeah.
So Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle, your own way with MTN Flexi Bundle. Just dial *138# and enjoy bundles that don't expire. We're going for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will show you how the robots on the table work. We'll be right back.
Hello.
Yo, what's up?
Charlie, bro, I need your help bad.
Oh, no. What is it?
Some question on.
Talk to me.
Musa was given 9 Ghana cedis, Kwame was given 36 Ghana cedis, and Pokwa was given 27 Ghana cedis. Based on this information, how much money would be given to Dela?
Chairman, I beg Puche, cause this one day, it's a long impression.
Catch up with family and friends like never before. Just pay for only the first minute of your call and pay absolutely nothing for the rest of your call. And you get 50 megabytes a day just for your first call. Dial *315# to subscribe to MTN free after 1 today, because we're good together everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
And we're back. And on the ground in front of me, I have some very interesting robots. Anyone listening watched Battle Bots, where you had these robots, people would build them and they would come and fight. And it was like a TV show. We really enjoyed them. So Gideon has this Battle Bot looking bot. Aha! I can flip other robots. And Richard has his advanced Mars rover looking robot.
Yeah.
And yours was a kit.
Yeah,
Richard, yours was a kit.
Yeah, this is a MI robot builder rover.
So it's like from Xiaomi,
Yeah.
that company, Xiaomi.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it comes to like 1,000 parts, individual
Wow.
parts that the kids can assemble to
Mm.
this, and it comes with an app. So maybe if you don't want your child to get an advanced mobile phone, you can buy a normal tablet,
Okay.
the one made for kids. Then you install the app and you connect it via Bluetooth.
Okay.
So it comes with also a manual.
Right.
Then the first manual is for this model, and it has another 8 models. So it means that your child can disassemble this one and use another model that can be downloaded in the app
Wow.
to create any
And,
humanoid robots, airplanes, aids.
wow. That's
So,
very interesting.
Yeah, so
I'm
meaning,
seeing some weapon-like looking arm. Can
Yeah.
you shoot anything out of it?
no, it's
Oh.
just for the show. It's just movement. The basic functionality of every robot is movement, locomotion.
Yes.
So it's very important that your child learns how to build something that can move.
Then they
Because,
can take it to the next
yeah,
step and they
in-
can start shooting.
in order to do anything useful or help human beings, it has to move. It can't stand by itself. Yeah, so that's what it's trying to do. And with this, just by your kids assembling that, improve their intellectual capabilities.
Right.
Because it's very complex. How to find this, fit with this, will really help the kid.
Yeah.
And it also has, in the app, it has programming
Okay.
using blocks. So your kid can even program how he wants it to move.
Right. I was about to ask if you could automate it.
Yeah, and voice control and all that. So it's really
Interesting.
complex. So,
So by the end of this whole process of building this
Yeah.
app and program, your child would have learned one, assembling,
Yeah,
would have learned how to program it to move,
yeah,
and then automation,
yeah.
and even voice control.
Voice control is even
That's
incorporated.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, Gideon, yours, you built it from scratch. Wow. So tell me about your robot. That is moving about on the floor. If you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, tweet at us, hashtag Joy Geek Squad. And yeah, we're talking about robots, and the robots are doing catch over here. So tell me about your bot.
Okay, so this is an Arduino-based robot.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, what Arduino is doing for me is to give me the microcontroller, which I can program.
Okay.
The sensors, the models, like the motor controller, which I'll connect my motors to. Now the rest is it's left to me.
Oh.
With the body, I have to design it.
Mhm.
So this, I had to sketch it down and then model it on my computer. All you can see are 3D printed parts.
I was just about to ask because it
Yes.
looked like it was 3D printed.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so all these parts are modeled and 3D printed. You can see the motors
Yeah.
back inside there. And it was programmed from the computer.
Mm.
So now whatever movement is happening, okay, this is the controller.
Okay.
So it's controlled via Bluetooth, as he said. There's one transmitter inside and a receiver
Receiver,
inside.
right.
Also. So whatever I want it to happen, I just move the joystick for movement. I also use the press for release of the weapon. So this is meant for robot wars.
Wow. So I was right.
Yes.
Battle bots.
There is also one more like a potentiometer, but it's called a rotary encoder.
Okay.
I have to program all that in the computer to tell you what to do. So once I press it, it can deactivate the robot
Oh,
where
right.
you cannot move
Use-
easy.
oh, okay. So it's more like a switch.
Yeah, you see now it's moving.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it has switches. I have a battery inside. I have a charger inside. So the
it's
battery
rechargeable.
is rechargeable.
Interesting.
Yeah, and these are all concepts I can just put it together. I can choose not to use a rechargeable battery, but just
A
connect
removable battery.
yeah.
Mm.
based
So-
on what I want to do.
Starting with yours, Richard, what's the base age for a child who wants to build something like this? How young should a child be to be able to build something like this?
7 years, 8 years.
7 to 8
7
years, and they
years,
can put
yeah.
this 1,000 parts.
And it has to be supervised.
Yes, because they're very
Yeah,
small
it's very- so-
parts.
The parents or the guardian will have to be teaching the kid, like, trying to help the kid.
Mm.
But as time goes on, the kid will just pick up. Yeah, so
Interesting.
from 7, 8 up to maybe 14, 15, 16, you can learn this. So as from that stage, then you can move to programming it yourself.
Mm.
But because at that time you'd have grown, so you can just move to Arduino programming, try to build your own body from sketching and all that. Then that's the beginning. So as time goes on, then you can then move to industrial robotics,
Mhm.
building arms for industries, for processing and all that. But you need to get the basics. So right from infancy, when you learn Legos,
Mhm.
you can move to this. Then you move to the Arduino. Then step by step.
Now, anyone watching
Yeah.
this would have thought this would be easier than this. Because this looked like, oh, it's simple. All I need to do is just put tires and a motor and then a controller and I'm done.
It's-
This one is the one that has,
Yeah.
all these parts. But you're saying you have to start with this
But
before
when
you even get to this.
He can attest to you how this goes.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
mentioned that he needed to program all the motors, I was like, oh, okay. So that's not that easy.
Yeah, this comes with
Like,
the microcontroller. It has in all those things. This comes packed in one.
Right.
It has the brain and everything.
So it's
packed in one.
already been
al-
programmed and already
there,
been
already there.
Maybe- Interesting.
Yeah, he had to do it all from scratch, and I tell you, it's very
So,
difficult.
Gideon, what age would you say a child should be able to build this?
with this. Okay, 14.
Right.
Yes, but
So, like,
that's if you started
GHS.
from 7.
That's if you started from 7. So if you are 14 and you haven't started from 7, then you have to start with this.
Yes, because I actually started in university.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe the reason was I couldn't get exposure.
Mhm.
Yeah. But if the children can be given exposure, they can be doing wild things at an early age.
But you built Conco cars. at a young age.
Yeah.
So you had a little bit of.
I remember I used just one thing to make any shape I wanted.
Wow. No
Yeah,
wonder
I
you're
needed
where
just
you are
one.
now. I probably had to use like 6 tints.
Wow.
Some of them were, discarded along the way. You also started with Kunku cars, right?
Yeah, but I didn't really think it could move with the power and the battery and all that. I was just doing it for fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And now here you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to, further explain the Arduino part for parents who. So, if I buy an Arduino kit and I'm a parent and I don't understand anything about robotics program and I give it to my kid and my kid starts and says, where does this go? Me, nah, I'm an accountant. You know what I'm saying? What do I do?
Wow. Okay. One fortunate thing we have now is internet.
Great.
It's a very great tool. Just type Arduino and then you get 1,000, results.
So without any experience whatsoever, I can start assisting my child to program Arduino.
Yes. Just go to YouTube. Or there's a site called Instructables.
Instructables, right.
It gives you step by step. Once you have the kits, that's it. I remember the first time I programmed my first Arduino, it was blinking LED. I was so excited. But that was the kickstart to great things. Yeah. And so far I've been able to program very complex sensors and all that.
So why do you think that, Richard, this goes to you, in the educational system, robotics is not being taught? Why do you think this is?
First of all, it's about awareness. It's about those in power trying to understand that it's really important for national development. That's the first thing. And secondly, it's about resources. It's about how to mobilize to get resources for the kids. And we don't even know where to start from. Yeah, so that's what I was explaining, that from infancy, you have to understand that it starts from the Legos, the toys, then it moves on, because in our educational system, the curriculums and the way that we teach people, it's one way. It's the same thing over and over again. But you have to understand that to develop a nation, you need industrialization.
Right.
And from that, you have to train the kids from an early stage whereby they can learn whatever they want to learn and also improve and upgrade to help the country. In terms of processing, recently you all saw what was happening in China, whereby they were harvesting cocoa. They had a small scale factory for Gary, processing of Gary. You see, but we don't have them in Ghana. So if we teach our kids, develop their intellectual capacity, they will look around and find solutions to almost all the problems that you are facing. They'll be innovative, they'll be informed, and they can do marvelous stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got a message from Doris Ijaponata on Facebook. It says, where can I enroll my 7-year-old to learn robotics, please?
Okay, there is no Ghana Tech Lab.
Right.
Yeah, that's where we are. Just walk in, have a nice arrangement, and your child can be introduced to robotics. We have a robotics lab that's specially set up for.
So it's like a class or a school?
Not really a school, it's an organization, but it has various sectors.
Okay.
So one sector is the robotics lab that we have.
And where's the Ghana Tech Lab located?
The Accra Digital Center, Circle.
Okay. So the moment they come in there and they look for the robotics lab and they'll find you guys there.
Yes.
And when they find you and they bring that kid that day, that kid is going to start learning robotics at once. Because I'm sure a lot of parents are very excited and thinking, you're going to learn robotics tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what's the process?
Okay, so it's something very simple. You just have to get the arrangements. The time, and looking at the age too, you have to prepare for which kind of category to give to the child. Yeah, because in that same place too, there is a maker space. That's where you can actually build this one.
Ah, so you have a 3D printer there.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Laser cutter and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to demonstrate your robot, Richard.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to us and you want to see what's happening, you can log on to Joy997 on Facebook. You can log on to Twitter, hashtag Joy Geek Squad. We're streaming there and on YouTube as well. And you'd see, we have the rover robots built by...
I have to connect it via Bluetooth
to your phone.
So
right.
I download the app I install it, then I connect it via Bluetooth. Then they have various settings in there. They have the movement mode, they have the programming, they have where you can download the manuals to form different models.
Right.
I told you earlier that there are 9 in total. So from just one kit, you can get 9 different types
models.
of
So
body robots and all that.
what kind of bots? So each module is a different bot.
Yeah, it's a different bot. You have
And-
humanoid, one with the 2 legs.
Oh,
humanoid. You
right.
have-
And it will walk.
It will just be moving.
Moving, okay.
Yeah.
And then you have a.
Airplanes.
Oh, wow.
You have marvelous stuff in there.
Interesting. So you
Yeah.
can rebuild this into a humanoid robot.
Yeah, you can rebuild
rebuild it into an airplane.
Airplane that can still move. Different shapes
Interesting.
and sizes. And
So
then
with that 1,000 pieces,
Yeah.
you have 9 different modules.
9.
Great.
So I've moved to the worker mode. That's the movement. So you can see that I'm moving forward. I can move back. And with the programming, you can even program how slow or
How fast it should move.
it
Okay.
should move. So there's also the
Turning.
turning.
I was beginning to think,
and
so you can go only forwards and backwards. So
Yeah.
now I see it turning.
back. can
You know,
turn.
I'm very threatened by that missile launcher on the side, even though you say it doesn't do anything. You never know. Terminator has taught us. So let me read a couple of WhatsApp messages. Kobby Spiky Nkrumah, we have a lot of IT developers in this country, but where is the help? Trust me, if we come together to build something, we can buy those high-tech countries like we can beat those high-tech countries like China, Russia, Switzerland, Poland, etc. Great and super job by the guys in the studio. Please, Spiky, my Google Pixel 3a phone. Douglas, I haven't forgotten. I told you, now we're getting sponsors. I'll talk to MTN. We'll see. We'll do some *138#, and then you get it. Another question, how deep must one go into maths and science to build robots, etc.? This is amazing, and I appreciate creatives and arts. That's from Nana Kwesi. So, Gideon, how deep must... Because, yeah, that's the perception we're given. So a lot of people who don't like math seem to think that you can't do robotics if you're terrible at math. You know?
It's very interesting. The highest law I've ever used in maths is trig. That was finding the gradient of a straight line.
That's
where
the highest
y is equal to mx plus c.
mm,
That's the highest I've done
in robotics.
so far with what I've done.
So if you're listening, you're not going to be doing what's some of the most complex math formulas?
Maybe
Integration,
And
differentiation, and all that.
and we'll be seeing on Twitter where people are saying, my
maths,
teacher,
in G maths.
the find X. This is where you find the X in the robotics. So, Gideon, show me your robot skills. You see, this would have been a perfect time to do robot wars, but yours can't fight, can it?
No, it's not fine.
Still, so beat.
It's defenseless.
So let me see your robot.
Okay.
So that's the custom built robot that you can start building from age
Yeah.
14,
Yes.
and everything was programmed by you.
Yes.
And so you put all the pieces, designed it, built it, and then
Yeah.
programmed it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So I see the weapon, yes, in front. Maybe you should attack Selwyn. Okay, so if you're watching us on Facebook, we're talking about robotics, and children need to start learning robotics at an early age, and we are talking about how to get your kids started. So we will be joined by Benedict. He's been on the show before on Zoom. He'll be talking to us also about his journey in robotics, because he's worked with a number of robotics competitions. And yeah, he's been doing some training as well. So, okay, so we have Benedict on the line. Hi, Benedict. So Benedict's a third-year
Spiky.
IT student at Academic City College. He's a national robotics coach and judge for the past 5 years, working with a number of STEM NGOs like STEMbees, Coderina, and he's the founder of Robotics and Technology Academy, aka Rotech. Hi, Benedict.
Hi, Spiky. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you perfectly. How have you been?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very
It's been a
well.
while.
Yeah, so today we are in your territory,
Yes.
robotics. Now you have been coaching. You've been on this show before. You brought the girls who won the robotics competition, and you've been coaching
Yes.
people who are trying to study robotics and all. And well, we've been talking about starting robotics early. You started this project where you're training young kids robotics, right?
Yes.
How did that go?
Well, for me, what I realized that there was a bit of a gap when it came to teaching robotics around the COVID period.
Right.
We had initially been teaching kids, I mean, with the NGOs and with girls, to take part in competitions, but then most of the stuff was done physically. So we tried to find a way, how can we be able to teach, I mean, kids
Mm-hmm.
during this COVID period without them having to physically meet? And we came about this company, Robotech Academy, which is able to use the power of Zoom
Mm-hmm.
or these other telecommunication platforms to be able to teach these kids virtually. So
Right.
what we do, just like I mean, as the other guys mentioned, they are able to get we are able to get them robot kits most of the time Arduino based, or I mean with other microcontrollers, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to get them to understand the basics of programming, and then we take them through a course of 3D printing, getting them to understand how to build the mechanical aspects of, I mean, the robot. And from there, they can implement more complex stuff like AI and the rest to get them really enthused about this whole process.
Nice, nice, nice. So, what's the youngest programmer, robotics programmer you've had to work with?
It's funny you asked this question because my best programmer has been my youngest kid, and he's 8
Oh
years
wow.
old. Yes, he's in RIN International School. Very bright young kid, 8 years old, and was in a class with people as old as 15 years, and was still my best student.
Wow, wow, wow. That's very interesting. So
Yeah.
it does buttress your points
Yeah.
in the studio that early bird catches the robot. Interesting. So now moving forward, you've been coaching the girls in a robotics competition.
Yeah.
How's that been going?
Well, teaching girls is a bit different from teaching guys. I mean, I have taught a number of, I've coached a number of guys, and with girls, I realized that girls need a bit more assistance. But what makes girls really good is that once they do get to understand the concept, they can do marvelous stuff. For example, you know the Methodist Girls High School team.
Yes.
I coached them a number of competitions. I mean, for one competition, I just came around once a week, gave them some basics, got them to understand. They needed help, they call up, and these guys were doing marvelous stuff even when I wasn't around. So, I mean, the difference between guys is with guys, you need to be a little bit stern and encourage them a bit. But with girls, you need more hands-on in there to be able to be pushing them and encouraging them. But when they get it, they are forced to be reckoned with. And I can attest to that because of the number of competitions girls have gone to and shown that they can really do it.
That's interesting. So, I mean, if you had to give advice to parents out there, what would you tell them?
I would say giving your child the basics of robotics allows them to dive into whatever they may need. I mean, the skills that your kids may need in the future, because as you know, technology can be implemented every single way, and it's all about finding a problem and developing a solution to it. So what you are in essence doing is giving your kids the ability to use technology to find problems and enable them, solve them using the skills that we teach them. So we've had a lot of kids develop an interest in, developing softwares, even though they're doing robotics because of the programming aspect of things, or want to get into mechanical engineering, be able to construct nice stuff because of what they are learning. In the end, it's not about just learning robotics in a whole, but understanding the process or the procedure as to how to develop a product to solve a problem. So that is the goal we are trying to teach these kids. And when they learn this, that means almost all the issues we have in Ghana can be solved so simply with the skills at their fingertips.
Great, great, great. So let me come back to the studio. This whole robotics and solving problems in Ghana, and I want each one of you to give me a common problem we have in Ghana that a robot could be built to solve, starting with you, which I'll come to you too, Benedict, so you also think about your answer.
So, recycling.
Recycling.
Sorting plastics and other, differentiating them. You see that in Ghana, you can do a lot of plastic. Recently, I saw a post on Twitter whereby a lady was using plastic cans to develop brooms. Yeah, on Twitter, and it was so marvelous. So, when it comes to sanitation, we have a lot of refuse around that we can build something to maybe sort out and use the substrate to do amazing stuff,
Right.
like what the lady was doing. So I can say one main problem that a robot can be used to solve is sanitation. Yeah.
Gideon, you.
Wow. There is this problem. I've actually started building something around it using the robots.
Right.
In the health sector. So caring for convalescents, the aged, having something like a nurse that will be running errands, that will be interacting with the person in the absence of human beings.
Right.
But sometimes these people are left and then there is no one to talk to and all that. But a robot can be a companion.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Benedict.
For me, I'm really interested in the field of delivery. Okay, it's automating the whole delivery process when it comes to last mile delivery. That is from the point of the shop, be it a restaurant, be it a post office, to maybe the closest kilometer. Having a robot be able to deliver your package to you. And for two aspects, I'm focusing on two aspects. The health implications, be it that you don't have to interact with a human being physically to prevent the spread of any diseases and whatnot, and also the safety of your package. These devices are going to definitely be fitted with materials in there to make sure all the contents within them, if they are cold, they remain cold. If they are hot, they remain hot, and they reach your delivery point intact. If you have the dispatch, anything can happen on the road. But with this, you are guaranteed of safety because this is going to be monitored and it's going to be going on a safe speed, and you can track your package wherever it's going to be when it's coming.
Great. So we'll take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll talk more robotics.
Hey, my phone is broken.
We've all been here before. The moment when your heart literally stops beating and you see your entire social life and savings flash before your eyes. Yep. Your phone just fell and you are frozen in fear, awaiting the post-mortem reports to find out just how badly your phone is damaged. But now, you no longer have to panic when your phone experiences liquid or accidental damage thanks to MTN Device Insurance.
Just install the MTN Device Insurance app, fill in the details and make payment, and experience the peace of mind that comes with knowing your device is insured as you continue to enjoy the most amazing 4G Plus experience only on Ghana's fastest network. Visit MTNDeviceInsurance.com or download the MTN Device Insurance app on Google Play or App Store and get your phone insured today with device insurance powered by MTN. We there for you everywhere you go.
Geek Squad.
And we're back. When you lose data, you lose business, because these days data is the backbone of your business and you have to keep it safe. Our resilient and highly connected MTN data centers now allow you to easily store and access all the essential data your business churns out every day. With MTN Data Center, you don't have to worry about data storage anymore. There's a team of expert staff available to back up power on hand, which means you can access your data no matter what happens. Your business can't go a day without data. Call 0244 308 111 to talk to one of our relationship managers, or send an email to mtnbusiness.gh@mtn.com, or visit mtn.com.gh/business today. MTN, everywhere you go. So before we went, during the commercial break, Richard, you were saying something about the learning robotics on Zoom and how very, efficient it is.
Yeah, I was saying that comparing adults to kids, after the pandemic, in the COVID era, we realized that as an educationalist, I realized that more adults wanted to learn robotics now on Zoom as the basis of robotics and programming.
Yeah.
Because it was in the scenario whereby an adult will be seeing himself or herself going to the classroom to sit with a 9-year-old girl to learn robotics or to learn coding. You see, in our Ghanaian society, it will be some way you feel shy and all that. But if you are in your office and you are on Zoom learning and the kid maybe is in a diapers or something also learning, you're all learning the same thing. So we realize that it's motivated adults to learn coding and robotics using Zoom because of the shyness and all that.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be in the same class with Benedict's 8-year-old and then he'll be programming the thing and beating me, and I'll be there looking at him. You know, back in school, some older one look at you and give you a knock like, to no boy.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I mean, so you can learn on Zoom
Yeah.
and catch up with everyone else. So Gideon,
Yeah.
in your, experience working with, you've taught some kids, right?
Yeah.
Do you
Both
think
kids, old people?
old
men,
people?
or ages.
So it's never too late.
Yes.
Even
never.
so, we're talking about education, robotic education for the kids. But from what I'm hearing, even older people who want to learn now, it's never too late.
Yeah.
I mean,
I once taught one man almost 60 years.
Oh wow,
Yeah. He
Almost
was going
60.
to use it for his business.
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Benedict, what's the oldest person you taught?
Funnily, the 8-year-old boy's mom was so interested.
Okay.
I mean, she was excited about how her kid was learning, so she decided she wanted to also take part. So I ended up teaching his mom as well,
Interesting.
which
interesting.
she probably about she'd probably be in her 40s. That's the oldest.
Great. Okay, so guys, we're almost out of time. Final words.
Yeah, I will entreat all parents to try as much as possible to provide an avenue for the kids to learn robotics. Yeah, because it will really help the kid, the family, and Ghana as a country.
Great.
Yeah, that's what I have to
Gideon.
say.
I will entreat parents. I mean, give us a chance to destroy some companies.
Very true.
Yeah, and honor to all of us who are bright to become doctors.
Mhm.
Some have to be engineers to solve the engineering problems in the country.
Great. Benedict.
Yeah, basically what I'd say is you should give your child the opportunity to explore. I mean, this is a field that will probably be the bedrock of development in the country. So if your kid has that ability at the early age, you'll probably be having your kid making some money so early before he even finishes school. So, I mean, I believe they should give your kid the opportunity to learn.
Great. Thank you very much, Benedict. Thank you very much, Gideon. And thank you very much, Richard.
Yeah.
And thank you, Robots, for joining us on the show. And thank you for listening and watching, those who watched. My name is Kobby Spiky Nkrumah, and Geek Squad was brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle, your own way with MTN Flexi Bundle. Just dial *138# and enjoy bundles that don't expire. So if you missed the bulk of the show, if you missed just a bit of it, you can always watch it on YouTube, watch it on Facebook, on Twitter. Just look for the hashtag #JoyGeekSquad, or go on myjoyonline.com and then go to our podcast. You can listen to it there. My name is Kobby Spiky. You can find me on social media at @TheRealSpiky. Shout outs to my producer, Prince Safo, Selwyn, Abeku Sankofi, and Dennis the Fairboy. We'll catch you next week. Whose birthday is it? Selwyn's birthday. Yes. Oh, Selwyn. I beg, as your birthday present, we'll give you one of the robots kits to go and fix it. So we'll catch you next week on another episode of Geek Squad. Peace.